The stare reflex. You're sitting in a coffee shop, sipping something overpriced with oat milk, when suddenly you feel it, that eerie, unmistakable sensation that someone is watching you. You turn your head, trying not to look suspicious, and failing miserably, only to lock eyes with a stranger across the room. Instant awkwardness. Welcome to one of the creepiest leftovers from our prehistoric survival kit, the hardwired ability to feel eyes burning into the back of your skull. This isn't your imagination. Your brain is equipped with specialized neurons called gaze detection cells that are basically tiny surveillance officers, constantly scanning your environment for eyeballs pointing your way. It's a primitive reflex from when being stared at probably meant something wanted to eat you. If you felt watched, you didn't go, "Oh neat, I must be popular." You ran, or you threw a rock, or you became lunch. And guess what? Those cells are especially sensitive to faces, and weirdly enough, even fake eyes. Studies show people behave differently when they think they're being watched by a pair of eyes printed on a poster. Like a picture of cartoon eyes on a donation jar actually makes people donate more, because nothing says moral accountability like a googly-eyed guilt trip. So yeah, your body still thinks it's dodging saber-toothed tigers every time Brenda from HR stares at you too long during a Zoom call. Darkness panic. Imagine this. The lights go out and suddenly every coat rack becomes a murderer. Your heart rate spikes, your breathing tightens, and your brain plays a highlight reel of every horror movie you've ever seen. Welcome to your ancient, irrational terror of the dark. And before you blame horror movies, just know that this particular freakout is older than campfires. Back in caveman days, darkness wasn't relaxing or ambiance. It was code for things that want to maul you while you're squishy and asleep. You couldn't see predators. You couldn't hear them over your tribe mates snoring. And if you stayed too calm, you ended up as protein for something with fangs. Your brain hasn't updated its software. It still flips every switch into DEFCON 1 the second visibility drops below Instagram filter levels. And fun fact, your amygdala, the anxiety DJ in your brain, lights up like a Christmas tree in total darkness, even if you're in your own house where the scariest thing is a pile of laundry. So no, you're not dramatic for walking faster past dark basements. You're just channeling your inner homo habilis. Congrats, you're evolution's haunted Roomba, hair-raising fear response. Ever get goosebumps when you're scared? Like when you hear a strange noise at 3 a.m. and suddenly your arm hair does a stadium wave? That's not your body trying to alert you. It's your body pretending you're a puffed up caveman bear. Yep, your skin still thinks it's covered in fur. This is called the piloerection reflex. It makes your hair stand on end to make you look bigger. Like, hey, predator, I'm not a snack, I'm a terrifying mop. Works great if you're a porcupine or a feral cat. Less effective when you're a modern human wearing yoga pants. This response is tied to the sympathetic nervous system, aka the fight or flight button you didn't ask for but can't return. It's the same system that gives you a racing heart, tunnel vision, and the ability to bench press a car in emergencies. Super handy in 12,000 BC when a dire wolf jumped out of the bushes. Slightly less handy when your phone rings from an unknown number. Basically, your body thinks a hair-raising threat is always just around the corner, but in reality, it's usually just a DoorDash driver knocking too aggressively. The startle scream. You know that thing where someone jumps out at you and you don't just flinch? You scream like you're auditioning for a horror movie? That isn't just because you're dramatic. That's an ancient alarm system. Screaming was humanity's first group chat. Back in the Stone Age, if you got spooked, your scream wasn't just about expressing your personal terror. It was a full-body group notification. A loud, primal Yelp review that basically said, "Bad thing here, run now." It's called the startle reflex, and it's baked into your nervous system like gluten in 1990s bread. The scream is your body's way of saying, "I don't know what that is, but I'm gonna make noise now and process the trauma later." It activates your fight or flight response, alerts others to danger, and, in the right conditions, even scares off predators. Turns out wolves don't love screeching. Also, screaming gets attention. Still does. Even if the threat is your roommate knocking over a lamp at 1 a.m., your body's like, release the alarm. Thanks, ancestors. Fear of heights. Standing at the edge of a tall building, even behind a secure railing, and your knees suddenly feel like overcooked spaghetti. You're gripping the handrail like it's the last Kit Kat in a desert. No one pushed you. Nothing's happening. And yet your brain is whispering, what if we just jumped for no reason? Ah yes, the ancient vertigo gremlin strikes again. This is your acrophobia, fear of heights, and it's hardwired deep in your brain's anxiety firmware. Back in prehistoric times, falling from high places usually ended with, well, not falling again, because you'd be be extremely dead. So your brain learned to associate high places with death by gravity and decided to freak out proactively, just in case. Interestingly, even babies show signs of height aversion. The famous visual cliff experiment, yes, that's a real thing, not a band name, showed that infants hesitate to crawl over a glass surface placed over a drop. No one taught them this. It's just genetic wisdom from the time of cliffs, tree houses, and really bad footing. And that intrusive, what if I just jumped thought, that's called the high place phenomenon. It's not a secret death wish. It's your brain's janky way of keeping you alert by simulating danger. Basically, it's screaming, don't do the thing, but in the worst possible way. Thanks again, biology. The don't eat that reflex. Imagine biting into something and immediately gagging because it tastes like despair and dead plants. That's your brain yelling, spit it out. Spit it out before it kills you. This gag reflex, ancient as heck. It's your body's default antivirus program. Long before expiration dates, food apps, or Google-able mushroom IDs, our ancestors had to rely on their noses and tongues to figure out whether something was food or fatal mistake soup. Bitter flavors, often sign of poison, weird smells, probably rot. Slimy texture, that's the do not eat me flag from Mother Nature herself. Your taste buds and olfactory sensors are basically medieval bouncers. If anything suspicious walks in, it's getting thrown out immediately, preferably with dramatic dry heaving. And that's not just for food. Think of how fast your stomach flips at the idea of drinking milk that's one day expired. Your digestive system is a snob, and it learned that snobbery the hard way through centuries of food-based trial and mostly fatal error. So yes, when you involuntarily gag at the smell of durian or canned clams, you're not being picky. You're channeling the collective trauma of 200,000 years of people who accidentally ate the wrong berry and died behind a bush, freezing in fear. You're walking alone at night and suddenly hear a noise behind you. Instead of sprinting like a caffeinated gazelle, you freeze, like full statue mode. Not blinking, not breathing, just still. What is this? A low-budget horror movie? Nope. That's your ancient play-dead instinct kicking in. This freeze response is part of the classic trio: fight, flight, or freeze. And while fighting sounds badass and fleeing sounds logical, freezing? That's your brain going, let's hope the murder monster thinks we're already dead, or maybe a weirdly shaped tree. In the animal kingdom, freezing can actually save lives. Predators like motion. If prey doesn't move, they sometimes get bored or confused. Humans picked up that trick, and it's stuck around like a default setting. The trouble is, modern danger doesn't always respond to stillness. Muggers, speeding cars, or public speaking. Freezing in those cases just makes you look like you've blue screened, but it's not a conscious decision. Your brainstem, aka the lizard brain, is running the show. It's the oldest part of your brain, and it doesn't care about logic. It just wants you to survive by pretending you've already been claimed by death. Super effective against wolves, less effective against exes at the grocery store. The I'm being followed sensation. Walking down a dimly lit sidewalk alone, and suddenly, boom, you feel like someone's behind you. No footsteps, no evidence, just paranoia at full volume. Congratulations, your threat detection system is in overdrive. This deeply uncomfortable spidey sense is the result of your brain's hypervigilance mode, an ancient software upgrade for living in predator-infested environments. Our ancestors didn't walk around with earbuds blasting sea shanties. They were tuned into every rustle, snap, and vaguely murdery vibe. Because the cost of missing one predator was death, evolution leaned hard into false positives. That means your brain would rather wrongly assume a squirrel is a stalker than ignore the rustle of an actual hungry lion. That system hasn't changed. Your modern brain is still jumpy and would prefer to flood you with adrenaline over nothing than risk underreacting once. And fun bonus, hypervigilance is more intense in low-light situations. Your vision narrows, your hearing sharpens, and your brain starts projecting horror movie scenarios in 4K. It's not rational, it's ancestral. And yes, it's why walking alone at night sometimes feels like starring in a shaky cam found footage thriller. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.